Imagine growing up in a small village with barely 800 people in a country of over 1 billion and dreaming of playing in the NBA, something that seemed impossible not just for you, but for everyone around you. Yet one man did it. He defied the odds, shattering barriers for his country and making history. This is the incredible 1 in a billion story of Satnam Singh, India's first and only NBA player. But what happened after his historic moment? What is he up to today? The early days, a dream beyond the village. Satnam Singh's story starts in a tiny village in Punjab, India, called Ballo, where the world of basketball seemed like a distant dream. Born into a farming family, Satnam's early life was far removed from the polished courts and lights of the NBA. His father, Babir Singh, was a towering figure, standing at 7 feet tall, and he saw the potential in his son to follow his own dream, a dream he had been denied. Babir had always been told to play basketball because of his height, but the nearest court was miles away, and the resources were virtually non-existent. Satnam's story didn't just begin with his talent, it started with the sacrifice of his father, who wanted to give his son the opportunity he never had. Babir saw the same potential in his son's towering frame, and despite the lack of basketball infrastructure in the village, he took Satnam to nearby courts. There, Satnam, who had no experience in the game, learned how to shoot and dribble. To the villagers, Satnam was an anomaly. His height was out of place in a small farming community, and he was given the nickname Chotu, meaning little one in Punjabi, which was ironic considering his size. Though Babir couldn't afford to give Satnam formal training or the kind of resources available to aspiring players in cities, his unwavering support and encouragement played a crucial role in Satnam's development. As Satnam continued to grow, not just in height but also in skill, Babir would fund trips to nearby towns where he could play against better competition. This determination, coupled with Satnam's natural physical gifts, set him on a path that no one, especially in his small village, could have predicted. The drive, a father's dedication. The next step in Satnam's journey came through his father's relentless pursuit to give his son the best chance at basketball. Babir would travel with Satnam to competitions across Punjab, seeking out any opportunity for his son to grow and learn the game. Despite the lack of formal coaching and training, Satnam's raw talent began to shine through. At just 13, Satnam was already 6 feet 11 inches and had the natural size and strength to be a force on the court. But this was more than just about being tall. He worked tirelessly, spending hours practicing every day, with villagers watching in awe as he dominated the local leagues. Satnam's dedication to improvement was unparalleled. He spent long hours working on his footwork, conditioning, and basketball IQ, all while developing an understanding of the game that went beyond just his physical gifts. His hard work paid off when he led Punjab's youth team to a national championship in 2010, earning him an invitation to the NBA's Basketball Without Borders camp. This prestigious event, aimed at identifying the top basketball prospects globally, was a pivotal moment in Satnam's career. It was there that he caught the attention of coaches, leading to further opportunities. The exposure and experience at the camp propelled Satnam into a new world of basketball, one where he could see a real path forward to the NBA, even though he came from a place with very few resources for aspiring players. This would mark the beginning of a journey that would take him far beyond the village of Ballo and into the global spotlight. The Big Break, IMG Academy and Global Exposure. The year 2010 marked a turning point for Satnam Singh. IMG Reliance, a collaboration between the sports management company IMG and Reliance Industries, aimed to foster basketball talent in India by creating opportunities for young athletes. They offered scholarships to 4 boys, and Satnam was one of them. After the rigorous selection process, he was given the chance to attend IMG Academy in the United States, one of the most prestigious sports academies in the world. Arriving at IMG was a culture shock for Satnam. He didn't speak English fluently, lacked coordination, and had never experienced the high level of training that the academy provided. Coming from a small village with minimal exposure to the level of competition at IMG, Satnam found the environment overwhelming. The gym was filled with athletes from all over the world, all of whom were more experienced and polished than he was. But he was determined to succeed. He threw himself into his training, improving his language skills and physical coordination, gradually developing into a player who could compete at a higher level. The work ethic he had learned growing up on the farm paid off, and in just a few years, Satnam showed dramatic improvements. He was quickly noted for his size, standing tall at 7 feet 2 inches and weighing 250 pounds. Coaches at IMG were struck by how his massive frame and natural strength combined with his improving basketball skills. But it wasn't just his size that impressed coaches. It was his improvement in basketball fundamentals. The physical conditioning and basketball IQ he built at IMG helped him become a much more complete player. By the end of his time at IMG, Satnam averaged 9.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks per game. His skill set as a center, combined with his size, drew interest from NCAA programs like Purdue, Pittsburgh, and USC. These schools saw Satnam's potential as a project player who, with further development, could dominate at the collegiate level. However, visa issues prevented him from playing college basketball, a significant setback. But rather than letting that deter him, Satnam made the bold decision to enter the NBA draft. This decision signified his unwavering ambition and belief that he could make it to the NBA despite the challenges. It was clear that Satnam's raw talent and dedication had earned him the chance to make his mark in the world's most prestigious basketball league, and his journey was about to take a significant leap forward. The draft, a glimpse of hope and expectations. Satnam Singh's decision to enter the 2015 NBA draft came with both excitement and skepticism. Many believed that his size and improving skills could help him make it in the NBA, but questions about his athleticism, slow foot speed, and lack of experience compared to his peers loomed large. As the only Indian-born player to ever be drafted, the stakes were incredibly high, not just for Satnam, but for an entire nation of basketball fans who had never seen a player from their country make it to the world's biggest basketball stage. Despite these concerns, the Dallas Mavericks took a chance on Satnam, selecting him with the 52nd overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft. This was a groundbreaking moment, a symbolic achievement for India, as Satnam became the first player from India, born and raised in the country, to officially join the NBA. The moment he was drafted was celebrated not only in the basketball community, but across the entire nation. Bollywood megastar Amitabh Bachchan congratulated Satnam on Twitter, calling it a monumental achievement for India. His draft selection was a moment of pride for Indian basketball, showing that the sport could, in time, gain ground in a country largely dominated by cricket. Satnam's time with the Mavericks, however, was short-lived. He started with the team's developmental league affiliate, the Texas Legends, where he continued to grow and develop. The D-League, now known as the G-League, would provide Satnam with the opportunity to hone his skills and adapt to the NBA's level of competition. Though his physicality and size were impressive, Satnam struggled with the fast pace of the game and the level of competition, often finding himself out of his depth in practices and limited playing time. Despite his limited opportunities with the Mavericks' main roster, Satnam's presence in the league was significant. He had made history by breaking through a barrier that no Indian player had ever reached before. His journey served as an inspiration to millions of young aspiring basketball players in India and beyond. Although Satnam's NBA career may not have flourished as many hoped, his draft selection was undeniably a step forward for Indian basketball, a pivotal moment that could have long-lasting implications for the future of the sport in the country. Satnam's legacy, while not defined by a long NBA career, demonstrated that basketball had the potential to break new ground in India. His success, or lack thereof, opened doors for future generations of Indian athletes who dreamt of playing in the NBA, offering them a beacon of hope that one day they too might follow in his footsteps. The struggles, injury, setbacks, and leaving the NBA. Despite his early promise, Satnam Singh faced many challenges in his pursuit of an NBA career. His time with the Dallas Mavericks was brief, and his journey in the NBA never fully materialized as hoped. After 2 years in the developmental league with the Texas Legends, Satnam was unable to earn a permanent spot with the Mavericks. Injuries plagued his progress, and his struggles to find consistent playing time only heightened the concerns about his ability to compete at the highest level. These setbacks were a stark reminder of the difficulty of breaking through in a league as competitive and unforgiving as the NBA, especially for players coming from countries like India, where basketball is not as deeply ingrained in the culture as it is in the US or Europe. Satnam's height and potential were never in question, but his athleticism, coordination, and lack of exposure to high-level competition left him struggling to adapt. While he showed flashes of brilliance in the D-League, those moments weren't enough to secure a permanent spot on the Mavericks roster. His development was hampered by various injuries that made it harder for him to stay on the court. He also faced the challenge of adjusting to a completely new environment in the United States, both in in terms of basketball and culture. In a sport where every player is in constant competition for limited roster spots, Satnam's journey became a harsh reminder of just how difficult it can be for foreign-born players, especially from countries with little basketball tradition, to succeed at the highest level. By 2017, the Mavericks released Satnam. His NBA dream, once a symbol of hope for an entire country, seemed to be slipping away. For many, this might have marked the end of the road, but for Satnam, this wasn't the end of his basketball journey, it was just a new beginning. In 2018, he left the NBA and returned to India to play for the Indian national basketball team, hoping to reignite his career and contribute to the growth of basketball in his home country. His return was seen as a positive step both for him personally and for Indian basketball, as he could offer his experience to the national team. However, 2019 brought yet another significant setback when Satnam failed a drug test while preparing for the South Asian Games. The suspension for 2 years put his basketball career on hold indefinitely. This blow was particularly tough for Satnam, who had already faced significant obstacles in his pursuit of basketball glory. With his basketball future uncertain, Satnam chose to pivot and turn to another passion he had been toying with for some time: wrestling. The transition to wrestling wasn't an immediate choice for Satnam, but the idea had been on his mind ever since 2017, when he was invited to a WWE tryout while playing for the Mavericks Developmental League. WWE had noticed his immense size and physicality and saw potential in him as a wrestler. While Satnam had fun during the tryout, he remained focused on his dream of making it in the NBA at the time. But the struggles and setbacks in basketball, coupled with his suspension, prompted him to seriously consider wrestling as a new path forward. In 2019, Satnam signed with All Elite Wrestling, marking the next chapter of his career. Here, he was mentored by fellow giant wrestler The Big Show, who saw potential in Satnam's footwork and size, qualities he had honed during his basketball career. Despite the initial excitement of entering a new arena, Satnam's wrestling career has had its own set of challenges, many similar to those he faced in basketball, namely his slow movement and lack of charisma, which have hindered his ability to stand out in a highly competitive industry. His time in AEW has been a mixed experience, as his in-ring performance hasn't yet matched the hype that surrounded his signing. Despite these struggles in wrestling, Satnam's story is far from over. He recently won the Tag Team Championship in Lucha Libre AAA in Mexico with fellow wrestler Raj Desi, known as Jinder Mahal. Though his wrestling career is still in its early stages, Satnam's journey is a testament to his resilience and his willingness to adapt. He made history by being the first Indian-born player to enter the NBA, and now, in a new venture, he is continuing to break boundaries, even if it's in a different sport. Through it all, Satnam has maintained a level of humility and focus that has inspired many young athletes, not just in India, but around the world. His journey to the NBA and now to wrestling may not have followed a conventional path, but it serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of perseverance, adaptation, and believing in oneself despite the odds. Whether his future is in basketball, wrestling, or any other venture, Satnam Singh's story is one of a trailblazer who dared to dream beyond the limitations imposed on him and showed the world that anything is possible. The shift, wrestling, and new opportunities. After his suspension, Satnam found himself contemplating a future outside of basketball. In 2017, while still with the Mavericks affiliate, WWE had extended an invitation for a workout, recognizing his athleticism and size. Wrestling became an appealing new path, and in 2019, after his suspension, All Elite Wrestling reached out to him. Satnam's wrestling career began with mentorship from legendary wrestler The Big Show, who saw potential in Satnam's size and strength. However, his transition into wrestling hasn't been without challenges. His wrestling career has been met with mixed reviews. Some of the same issues that plagued his basketball career, such as his slow movements and lack of charisma, have followed him into the ring. Critics have mentioned that Satnam's wrestling character lacks the intensity and presence expected from someone of his stature, often being portrayed as a goofy character rather than a dominating force. Despite these hurdles, Satnam won the AEW Tag Team Championship in 2022 alongside Jinder Mahal, a fellow former WWE superstar, marking a significant milestone in his wrestling career. The future. What's next for Satnam Singh? Satnam Singh's story is far from over, but the road has been anything but smooth. From overcoming the odds to play in the NBA to transitioning into wrestling, Satnam has shown remarkable resilience in the face of adversity. While his time in the NBA didn't go as planned, he remains a trailblazer for aspiring basketball players in India, inspiring a generation that now sees the possibility of making it to the highest levels of basketball. Though his NBA journey was short, the impact of Satnam Singh's presence in the league cannot be understated. He proved that anything is possible no matter how unlikely the dream. Whether he remains in wrestling or moves into another venture in the future, Satnam has already made history. He was the first Indian-born player to be drafted into the NBA, and for that, he will always be remembered. His story serves as a reminder that the pursuit of greatness is never linear. Some dreams come true, while others evolve into new challenges. Whatever happens next for Satnam Singh, his legacy as the first ever Indian NBA player will continue to inspire millions of young athletes from India and beyond to chase their dreams, no matter where they come from.